Hey, hello there. I hope this is working. It tells me there is a live going on. So this is my first time trying on my phone and it was an absolute palaver. And I still can't see how I've got myself up now on the screen. And then I found I could still play all my intros and everything else, but then I couldn't get myself back on the screen. There doesn't seem to be those boxes down the bottom that I get normally using StreamYard, where I can click and bring myself back up. I can't find where that is. So if any of you do a live on StreamYard via your phone, I know how to do StreamYard on my computer. How do I get myself back up here? So I daren't do any intros or anything else today. I found how to do that, and I'm going to actually move you because every time the sun comes out, you might not be able to see me, but you'll see what I'm doing behind me today. Let me just move you. I'm going to have to move my water and everything else. Oh, so let's just move you. Bring you around here. So I'm in my sun lounge. Let's see if we can put you there. I'm not very good at going mobile. Let me see. Bring my water around here somewhere. Got to be careful because the cats are about. Now, what I want to do today, you won't see me all the time because I want to do these. You're probably in the wrong place anyway now. So I can't even see my phone very well. So I want to do these. I can't see you at all. Which are my indoor growing. And I thought today would be a good opportunity to do those, just to test out doing a live on my phone. So I've done this one, and this one's endive. And I want to show you how I do them. Fortunately now all my stuff's the other side. So let me just move stuff around a little bit. And I'll get what I need. Righty ho. So as I say, I can't see you at all. If you keep seeing the shadow of my hand, it's so I can see what you can see. Right, you can see this one. Let's turn you that way a tiny bit more. So what I would do is I've got a tray. I've filled all these up already with soil. So what I do now, this is actually my tip first I must share with you. Whenever you're putting soil or compost or whatever you're growing in, you're growing compound in a container or a pot, do it way before you want to actually sow seeds or transplant anything. And the reason for that is this has been sitting here in the sun for quite some time. Yes, it's the end of November in Cyprus. This is our weather. So this has been sitting here unwatered even. And what I suggest you do is before you start growing, maybe a good few weeks beforehand, gently water your pot or growing container and don't do anything else. Then if there's any weeds, they're going to already be coming up before you've even planted, which should save a lot of the time weeding after you planted and not knowing what seedlings are coming up and what are weeds. So first of all, I'm just going to, this is an old kitchen utensil. I just dig out anything that's growing because I know it's not vegetables or whatever seeds I've planted. And have a little scoot round as well, because as you do that, there may be some new shoots like here, I don't know if you can see, coming underneath that haven't come out the top yet. So it's always a good idea to have a little container on the side to throw any of these little weeds first of all. Can you see me? Yes. Okay, so, and also if you've got a small growing container like this, it also does another fine look to see if you've got any stones, any small stones. Look, there's little weeds coming. And I will apologise already if anyone goes in the chat because I can't do more than one thing at a time. So I will say hello to anyone who comes in the chat. I'm saying hello now. And also thank you very much if you're watching this back later. This is a completely different type of video I do, but I wanted to try on the phone because trying on the phone means I can take you out and about in my garden, and that's quite how I'd like to do a live. And I have asked people of my generation who aren't very computer and gadget savvy if they've done one on the phone, how easy it was. Now, some people have only used their phone, so for me that's not a comparison. I want to know the difference. So as I say, if you've ever done StreamYard on your phone, tell me how I can bring myself back up on the screen like you do in a live when you do it on your computer, because I was up on the screen and then I took myself down, but I couldn't seem to get myself back up. That bit seems to be missing from the phone app. As I said, it was a palaver anyway. Okay, there's a pretty good shuffle through there. Now, as I say, I completely filled this up to the amount I wanted in it. So what I now do is take not quite half of it out. And again, I've got a little container here. This was actually my friend gave it to me. She didn't want it very recently, so this is perfect for this. And you might still find a few little bits of weed as you do that, or some little stones. So put those in a different container. So take maybe a third off, maybe a third. You don't want to go too shallow. And then, of course, you can, if you've got soil from your garden, of course, you should be wearing gloves. You should be wearing gloves. Okay, so then I water that bit. I water that bit there. Not too much, but this ensures the water's got all the way to the bottom. So not too much. Then you find some seeds. They're all over here now. I had them already, but they're over here. So let's have a look. What seeds will I sow today? What do I want a lot of? Let's do some of this. I want to grow much more greens that I can liquidize and make into soups and things like that. So I've got some endive. Just see if I can see. Yes. Okay, so that's endive, not to be confused with chicory. So I'm going to get a few of those. And do always leave your top on. Sometimes people tear them off and forget what they are. Or what I recommend is to turn your packet upside down and tear off the bottom if there's not information there you need. So we'll get a few of those out. I'll show you those seeds. I don't know if you can see. Yes, I think you can just about see. That's endive seeds. And I'm a great lover of just sprinkle. When you put them back in the pot, anything you don't want, do it over your growing area so you can't lose any. Okay, so I'm a firm lover of just free sowing. It's not very often I plant individually unless it's very big seeds, and then I will. Now, because they're evenly spread on the base, you don't need to mess about, apart from sprinkle what you took out back on the top. This is where a spoon comes in handy. Make sure it's quite even. Sprinkle those back on the top. I wonder if people have tuned in today, because I put, I wasn't sure if I even could find the bit on here where you can choose which channel you're going live on. So I just put Dawn's going live because I wasn't sure, but I did put a message up on Tranquility community post today to just say it's my first time live, and if it doesn't work, well, I was fearful it would just go on my main channel because of an email that I had to put in. So I wonder if people are tuned in today just to see if there's chaos. I've tried to do a live on the phone. We've got Kit here. Let's see Kit. It's Kit live on the phone. Good boy. Okay, so when you've done that, don't press too firmly down. This is something about planting trees. The old method used to be to get your feet after you planted a tree and stamp all round the tree. You don't do that. That's a big no-no these days. So when you've done that, oh, Kit's laying here now, which is very awkward. When you've done that, just water that in. Okay. Should be plenty. Sorry, Kit, I just ripped on him. And then, before you close it, because then you'll go, which one was it I just did? Label it. Now, I've got many different videos I've showed you of how I label, but for today, I'm just going to get, you can use, just for ease for growing indoors, you could use lollipop sticks, popsicle sticks, or tongue depressors from the vets. I really can't see what I'm even showing you. So there, and I'm just going to write endive on that just for quickness today. Endive. I'll write it in English so you know what I'm doing. I have to remember to do that when I do my planting. Okay, so I've just written on there. Shut your lid down. Now these, as you can see, are just takeaway boxes. These are like, each one is a mini indoor greenhouse. You can see before I did stick labels on and wrote on them, but in this sun, they fade out very quickly. So that is why the lollipop stick will go upside down on the top. You could put it underneath, but then if you drip water, you might affect it there. So that's endive, first of all. Now this, actually, you can plant all year long, but I plant things now that you shouldn't be planting now. One, because of our weather. How does a seed know if it's summer, autumn, winter, unless it's the temperature? Well, as you can see from this video, you could be fooled as to what time of the year I'm filming it if it wasn't live. People do often query, well, when was that? It's like, that's today. So hence the live, so you can see. Okay. So that's 2 done. We've got 1 done there, 2 done there. Can you see here? Where am I? Over here. Right, let's move you without getting the kit. Oops, I got the kit. Right, so where are we? We're here now. Let's move you along a bit more. Kit's right in the way. Kitty, darling. I'm going to have to put the tripod over your head, my lovey. There we go. There we go. Right, we've got you in the right place, just Kit not in the right place. Okay, so let's do another one. So again, you can see something has sprung up. Overheating. Oh my Lord, you're overheating now. Let's move you. Let's move you away. Right, I'm going to have to abort that. You may or may not be able to tell, but it just came up. Your phone is overheating. And I see now I've come in here, it's a bit shadier. Yes, my phone always overheats. Let me sit down here. There, so we'll have to abort that. Now, let me see. Yes. Okay, I'm going to get my water and I'm going to bring my seeds in to show you what seeds I've got. At least we've got 1 planted. This happens, this is life. So hang on there 1 second. I'll get my now probably very hot water in. Where did I put it? There. Okay, we've got the hot water. And I'll just go and get some seeds in to go through some seeds with you that I've got. Okay, I don't think this mobile moving around filming is going to really work for me. It's too much. Okay, so let's show you what I was going to be planting. So first of all, we have chicory. I'm going to plant some chicory. Some people get that mixed up with the endives. These have beautiful blue flowers. If you've been watching my videos, you will see beautiful blue flowers. That was from these. And as I say, I want to grow lots of this kind of thing because I want to make lots of soups and sauces and soups. So I've got that. I'll have to remember not to film. Oh, perhaps I can't film outside ever for you if it's hot. These, now this is oriental spinach. It's much smaller than your normal spinach. This is oriental spinach. And we've had a little bit of rain, and these have suddenly grown twice the size in a few days. So they obviously like a lot of rain. So I've grown some more of these. I've only got one bush. It's wide, but it's only about this tall. So it's about this wide. I've got that. Tomatoes. I've got all sorts of tomatoes. I've got seeds from my own tomatoes as well, but I like to buy a pack now and then just to stock up on those. Just have a bit of drink. By the way, this is another room in my house. Unless you've seen my videos on my other channel, New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus, you won't have seen much more of my house. So go and look at the first few videos on New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus, and you will see all the rooms in my house. So this is the middle of my house, and this is the winter lounge. And obviously it's called thus because that is our fireplace, and that is the only heating in our whole house. It's like real we burn pine cones and twigs and branches and that on it. So that's that. Okay, what else we got? We've got cucumber, always a good to go. Cucumber, bulks out sandwiches or whatever. Salads. We have so many different types of zucchinis, marrows, courgettes. This one they actually state as marrow courgette, and I have done a video on my other channel all about the differences, and that's really like a tonder one. I actually cut one of my zucchinis yesterday growing, so that was good. We have here some red cabbage, Savoy cabbage. I have some of that. I want to plant some. As I say, I pay no attention to what has to grow at what time of year. So if it works, and I write down what works, and if anything doesn't. But because they're growing in those mini containers I did at the beginning of this live, they seem to grow pretty well. We have coriander. I'm not over keen on coriander, but a bit of that will be fine. We have sweet corn. That grows pretty well here, but it does love the water. I've got some of this. If any of you have cats, I have some cat grass. Now, I have grown some already I've got 2 packets. Someone gave me 2 packets. I have grown some already. I opened 1 packet and grew some, and the cats ignore it. So if anyone wants cat grass, I do have cat grass. I've got some more in the other box outside, but in here, these now are my own harvested things. I've got some chard. You've seen me harvesting tons of Malabar spinach. This is just some of it, and you'll notice I put kitchen towel in the jars. Now they have to be really dry Malabar spinach, as in months aired before you put them in a container, but I still put a bit of kitchen roll in there, so that's good. And then we have white grape. These are from my grapes I've grown. Chives, I've just finished all those. We have some more beans, and that's just what I was going to grow out here. I have more seeds, but I have started a lot more seeds outside in my bottle farm. And again, if you don't know what my bottle farm is, there's another video coming up of this year's bottle farm on my other channel, New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus. So do go and have a look there, and you'll see all my growing, my hugelkultur beds, what else? Raised beds that we built ourselves from pallet wood, and they have no screws and no nails, so you can find out about them there. Roost Stout method, which is basically growing straight in straw or hay. No soil needed. And this is a concept some people get wrong with hugelkultur. The whole point is you don't need soil or compost. It makes its own. It makes its own. That's what it's all about. And you do not need to dig down. It's a no dig method. I see so many people dig down and put in logs, and no, you don't need to do that. Hugelkultur is a simple method. You just put your logs straight on your ground and pile it up. It's not supposed to be flat to the ground. And I see people complaining, saying, oh, I had to dig all the way down and make a big pit. You don't do that. I think that's the trouble with YouTube. Some people see something, they see something a bit wrong, they think it's right, then they copy it and talk about that method and show it wrong. So you don't dig down for hugelkultur. That is something else completely different. You have lasagna growing, which is a bit like all these other methods, but the difference with that is layering brown, green, brown, green. And what do I mean by brown and green? Well, brown is, as it says, anything brown. So it could be cardboard, it can be brown dried leaves, that kind of thing. And green can be things like fresh leaves you've raked up, green leaves, green cuttings, and so on and so forth. So it's to give you the idea of doing that, which technically is exactly the same as you should do your compost. So really, you don't need a compost area unless you're doing a huge amount of gardening and you want instant stuff ready to grow in. So like I'm growing indoors, you might need some compost for that, because I don't have any soil and I've never bought any compost or anything else. So I make my own. Whatever you see looks like soil, it is all my own homemade compost. But if you've got a tiny garden, you don't need to make a compost pile. Just make your compost on the ground like hugelkultur. So if you're able to get some twigs or branches, put those down first. Put some cardboard down under if you want to stop weeds coming through. And just throw anything on there, whatever you have at any time. So if you suddenly go shopping and you've got some cardboard boxes, then just throw them on, break them up. If you break things up, of course, that would be better. And just throw things on willy-nilly. Oh, I had eggs today, throw some eggshells on. Don't worry so much about all these videos about you must do it like this, you must do it like that. Everything, as long as it's compostable, will decompose at some point. So, and this is the thing, doing it like this or doing hugelkultur, you can grow in it immediately. That is the whole point of it. And I've done videos on that showing you. I've even got a great video on my other channel where after I think 2 years, I think it was 2 years, I literally pulled apart one hugelkultur bed and showed you each layer and what's been happening. And I said straight away, oh, you might see the top and think, oh, that's quite dry. But then I dig down a tiny bit and it's all moist and lush and soily and beautiful. And as I say, I've never put soil on. Also, the good thing about hugelkultur beds is you don't need to water them. Yes, if you want to start when you first lay cardboard down, you want to water that cardboard in, that's great, that's fine. Or if you've just put new plantings in it, if you want to not grow from seed in there and you want to use it just to transplant, which is good if you've got a short growing season, you can't grow outside all year, then you'll want to just transplant in there. Yes, of course, water those in. But again, another tip is before transplanting anything, then water it first, water the bed you're putting it in, then transplant. You can't go wrong. So I think this live worked. Ching! I know now I can't take you outside because it nearly stopped. I'll have to look back at this later and see what happened where it said my camera was overheating. I had to do it today because my internet, yesterday I was scheduling lots of videos because I'm not going to be here for a while, and when I go for my respite I'm not going to be around, so I still wanted to give you videos. So I've been doing scheduling, and I'd scheduled so many, and I ran us out of money of the internet. We're only allowed, I say a certain amount, we're allowed tons. We've never had an issue. But when you think how much I've been scheduling, and I did a live on my dance channel, so I was doing a lot of extra things. I've set some premieres up as well. So if you ever come looking for my live and I'm not here, go and look. I have scheduled some premieres at the time I would be doing a live. So if you don't see a live from me, do go and check my premieres, because I have scheduled some premieres. So I think you see that in the video section there. So there will always be something from me. So yeah, so I ran us out of internet. So that's why I'm using my phone. But I wanted to try and use my phone. I was only saying last week, I really should try and use my phone for a live. What a palaver setting it up. I think it'd be all right if you only have ever used your phone. But because I normally use my computer for my lives, I had to allow myself. And it was a palaver as well, because once I'd set up my phone as like a guest, like a person like you guys, as if you came on my channel. I'd set my phone up one time, and that was because I wanted to film myself doing the live and also show you something at the same time. So I was going to use my phone because I couldn't move the laptop around. So that's the way you do it. If you ever want to do that, that you want to demonstrate something at the same time, set your phone up as a guest. So you come in as if you're a guest. So I would have to, from my laptop, send the live URL to my phone, and then I can come in as a guest. And because I've done that previously, when I went on StreamYard today to do this live, it came up a big sign that live has finished. I was like, what are you talking about? And then I remembered what it was. So yeah, that was a bit chaos. So, and with my brain damage, it's very hard for me to negotiate. And passwords, oh my goodness. Put your password in, whatever password you put in, it doesn't accept it. And then it's not that password. So what password is it? And they say, don't write your passwords down. Yeah, right. I don't even know my mobile phone number. I guess some of you don't, but I haven't got a clue. I can't tell you that. I sometimes forget like part of my address because I'm not writing it all the time. So for me to remember a password, well, that's ridiculous, because I'm not going to put words or dates like some people do. That's a big no-no. Yeah, that's a big no-no. So I wanted to do a live. I did say this week on my other channels live, I do need to do a live on my phone. I need to do it just to see how it works. And I thought, oh, if I get going, that'd be really good, because I can take you outside on a live and show you around a bit more, or you can come on the comments and say, oh, Dawn, show us the blah, blah, whatever it is you want to see, and I can go there. The only thing I was worried about doing it outside as well is I can't hold my phone very well. So I've got you in a tripod, obviously. I can't hold you steady. And when I film videos, as in to post and edit and make a video, it's so appalling how much it shakes that luckily I use Movie Maker, and on Movie Maker it's got a button you press to stabilize your filming. Thank goodness for that. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to do videos anymore, unless I literally had a tripod, kept it nice and still. And yeah. Yeah, I need, but I don't like that. I like to walk and talk. So even holding any other contraption, and someone's going to say, use a gimbal. If I could afford these things, I would have these things. And also I was talking to somebody the other day that suggested a gimbal, and I said, tell me if I'm wrong, but aren't they heavy? And they said, they're a bit weighty. I can't hold that. I find even holding my phone quite heavy. I have very vulnerable hands, very vulnerable hands. Oh dear. So I'm going to finish there. I think this was a success. I can't go today and check on my computer. I've got to try and figure out what we're going to do for my Monday live on my other channel. Mike said, oh, I'll pay extra for it, because we can still use it, but we've now got to pay money to use it because we're on sort of a contract. And he said, no, you do that. So I said, right, well, Tranquility one, I normally only do half an hour. So I'll give it a go on the phone, because I do want to see if I can do it on the phone. So yeah. Okay, I can definitely do the outro, and after that I will finish, but I'll see if I can play around myself and figure out how, once I go off the screen, how I can bring myself back on, because we haven't got the boxes down the bottom that I have in normal StreamYards, and then you go down the bottom when you take yourself off, and then you see yourself down the bottom, press yourself and come back up. That doesn't exist. So as I said at the beginning, if any of you do StreamYard on your phone, can you tell me how, if you leave the screen, how you can come back up? So please give me a thumbs up for this. It took a lot of effort. As you saw, I did try and set everything up outside. That took time. And then where I started off, it was far too sunny for you. Then I turned it around the other way and the camera was like, I'm too hot in Cyprus. So I'm going to finish there. And I thank you so much. As I say, please give me that thumbs up. I would really appreciate that a lot. It was big effort for Dawn. And give me a comment to cheer me on, saying, yeah, you go, you did well. So as I say, if I'm not on a live, do check. There's a premiere will be up instead, and I will speak to you very soon. Thank you all for watching. You are all very much appreciated. And I'll find my outro. There. See you next time. Have a very good weekend.